Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. If you guys want to come in, we'll get a good crew, good gathering of community here today. Thank you so much for being here. I'd like to particularly thank our Minister, Rebecca Schultz, for being here today, and Mayor Brown, as well as Chris McNichol, the President of the Airdrie Chamber. And thank you to Mar and company for hosting us here today. Greg is here being a fantastic host, and Marnie is not feeling well, so our thoughts are with her as she recovers. Marnie, of course, has been a champion for our community and particularly for this announcement here today. Here in Airdrie, the spirit of growth and prosperity is something that is constantly nurtured and encouraged. As individuals, we've all got ways, and we all find ways that we can contribute to make our community and our city a great place to live and raise a family. But today we can cooperate like we are doing today with different levels of government, as well as our colleagues here from the business community. And there's so much we can achieve. Airdrie has some big plans for the downtown core, and they have new financial planning tool to help them achieve those plans. There's no doubt the approach the city and the provincial government are taking together will make Airdrie a better place to live, work, and play. With that, I'd like to invite my colleague, Rebecca Schultz, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, to talk about why we're gathered here. Minister?
Quite a height difference. This is always the case for me. Thank you so much, MLA Pitt, for the introduction. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you today and to join Mayor Brown, MLA Pitt, to celebrate the start of something that I think is going to be very exciting for the city of Airdrie. I also want to thank Chris McNichol from the Airdrie Chamber of Commerce for being here today, as well as so many other business and community members. The past few years have in fact presented challenges for us all, and as a province we've done well to navigate through them. Today I'm pleased to announce a powerful new planning and financial tool for the city of Airdrie to wield as it charts its own course on the road ahead, a Community Revitalization Levy, or CRL. So sometimes planning and financial tools or levies may not always make for very exciting headlines, but I do want to be clear that this tool is very good news for the residents of Airdrie. In times like this, Albertans do want to see government invest in our future growth and prosperity. They also want to see governments who are responsible with tax dollars. Airdrie has a vision for its downtown core that will encourage private investment and revitalize the heart of this growing city. Community revitalization levies help communities like Airdrie to grow by dedicating future property tax revenue to help pay for critical infrastructure and spur on growth and development in brownfield areas or areas where development is lagging behind. In turn, those investments will drive even more development. Over time, the levy will lead to increases in property values. Businesses in the area will benefit from these projects as they attract more people and potential customers. The projects that Airdrie is pursuing today and in the coming months will create more jobs for Albertans as well. As we've seen in other communities, the area can then benefit from the investment, and the increase in tax revenue will support municipal services. All 5 existing CRLs in Calgary, Edmonton, and Cochrane have proven successful since the program began nearly 20 years ago. Alberta Municipal Affairs recently relaunched the CRL program with a number of enhancements, opening the door for even more communities to take advantage of this potential, like Airdrie is doing right now. I do want to thank and congratulate Mayor Brown, Airdrie Council, and City Administration for your leadership and your enthusiasm on this initiative. I look forward to seeing where this Community Revitalization Levy will bring Airdrie in the years to come, and I will now turn it over to Mayor Peter Brown to speak a little bit about what is in store for the future of this city. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. I'm going to go off the cuff to start. Just want to sincerely thank you, MLA Pitt, and your government, the Premier, for supporting this initiative. There was a lot of obstacles to overcome in a very short period of time, and I know you made that happen, so we sincerely thank you for that. And on behalf of our administration and our community and Airdrie City Council, we want to thank you. So over a number of years, residents and property owners have participated in public engagement in the downtown. Engagement was used to create the downtown plan. We heard from the engagement. People want they don't want to see empty lots in our development, or sorry, empty lots in our downtown. We need to bring more residents and visitors into our downtown. Identified some parking issues, which I experienced on the way here, trying to get here on time. Identified opportunities for beautification for certain. Water fountains, right? Administration, water fountains. Identified barriers for potential development, and that can't continue any longer. Downtown plan outlines what we need to do, but CRL will make sure that, or hopefully contribute to make sure that that happens. CRL gives us the ability to attract private investment in underdeveloped areas, key to transforming our downtown. Innovative funding mechanism allows us to fund important projects without additional pressures on taxpayers. Airdrie property owners will pay less for the public improvement projects that will make the downtown a place that people come and love. Some of the things the funds will be used for: environment site assessments, hoping to do assessments of all the downtown, take away a barrier and an expense to develop, financial assistance or municipal action to address contaminated areas, again, taking away that financial barrier for development. Space for community and education, uses in the downtown, multi-use facility, and of course our new library and multi-use center. Looking to strengthen a growing knowledge-based economy and adding jobs and value, of course, to our provincial partners. Construction of some type of parking to address the issues that currently exist will help current and future businesses by making them more accessible. Integrate Nose Creek, and it's the beautiful Nose Creek, as part of our placemaking and public gathering spaces in the downtown. And I just, again, want to reiterate the importance of a partnership and the recognition that Airdrie needs a partner in the provincial government as well as the federal government, and we're looking to continue to enhance that relationship as we move forward, Minister and MLA Pitt, and we thank you very much again for being here and contributing to our community and making us a better place to live, work, and play. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce my friend, the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Airdrie Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Chris McNichol. Chris.
Thank you all for the opportunity to come share and speak to something very important to our city, something that the Chamber is thrilled to support. The investment in not only our city, but in our downtown core has been something that's been on the books or needed for a number of years. And the Chamber looks at the Community Revitalization Levy as a great tool to help move this forward without the added burden of tax increases at this time. One of the things I learned through the city budget this year was the mix in Airdrie in terms of residential, commercial, and industrial, in terms of how that is driving tax pressures on our residents going forward. And a project like this helps to redistribute that mix and get us back to where tax increases don't have to impact our residents as much. The investment for Airdrie will not only be a boost for our businesses, our economy, but also for jobs within our town, and we cannot say enough about the program and how it's mitigating risk for us, not only as a city, but for as a province going forward to continue to grow. Thank you guys very much for having me today, and I think we're going to take some questions. Yeah. All righty. Excellent.
All right, everyone, that wraps up our presentation part of today. If you have a question for any of our speakers here today, if you could just step to the mic on the left-hand side, right behind the cameras there. We'll take a few questions from the room before headed to the phone lines. We'll be taking one question and one follow-up, and if you could please identify yourself and your outlet, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Scott. I'm with Airdrie Today and the Airdrie City View newspaper. I'm just wondering if the long-term revitalization of downtown includes the possibility of building upward rather than outward in terms of like medium-rise apartment buildings, potentially high-rises, that kind of thing.
That's okay, Minister? Yes. That's all I need to say is yes. We've been talking to our development community, and it's time we got past the 4 stories in our community. We need to start building higher density and opportunities for people to provide different types of businesses and residential opportunities here in Airdrie, so yes.
All right, we'll head to the phone line then. Operator, if you wouldn't mind putting through our first caller.
Catherine Gorgowski, Alberta Today.
Oh, good morning. The question is for the minister, and I apologize, it's only tangentially related. as we're heading into budget talks, well, you mentioned off the top that it's been a couple hard years, and you've asked cities to kind of share in and do their part to be fiscally responsible. What are you telling cities to expect from the upcoming spring budget?
Well, thank you. That's a really good question. And, part of the work that I've really taken very seriously and something that the Premier asked me to do is make sure that we have strong relationships with our municipal partners. We serve the same people. We have the same constituents, and they want to see all levels of government working together in the best interests of the residents of our province. We also have people across the province that want to see continued economic growth, but also fiscal responsibility at a time when inflation and cost of living are top of mind issues for families right across the province. And so I think today's announcement is a great example of how Airdrie had a very compelling I would say, proposal for this community revitalization levy. And we worked together to address any concerns or issues and to make sure that that was processed as quickly as we could review that and approve that proposal. I think when it comes to municipal funding, 3 years ago, difficult decisions were made. I mean, 2019 feels like a long time ago, but, we had an oil price crash, an economic downturn, and we did have to make difficult decisions across all levels of government, I would say. And now, municipalities, do want to see stable, predictable funding. That's what we've committed to. Funding was front-loaded for capital through MSI 2 budgets ago, and so there is some predictability in that, but we're also working towards a new funding formula. We're working with not only Alberta municipalities, the Rural Municipalities Association, but then also working to hear from municipalities, including mid-sized cities across the province, on what they want to see in that formula and what they want to see moving forward.
Catherine, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, and Edmonton Mayor Amarjeet Sohi released a letter that he had sent a few months back saying that Edmonton wants its fair share. Just yesterday, day before, there was a Calgary funding announcement, and it kind of feels to Edmonton that Calgary's getting a little bit more than Edmonton. What would be your response to Mayor Sohi?
Sure. I would just point out that under MSI, there was $95 million allocated in each year, 2022 and 2023, as well as 2023-24 for the City of Edmonton. Budget 2022, so last year's budget, provided capital funding of $118 million to begin implementation of Stronger Foundations, which is a 10-year strategy to improve and expand affordable housing. Specifically in Edmonton, last year's budget included $588 million over 3 years as part of the $1.5 billion in provincial support for Edmonton LRT projects, $371 million for the new Edmonton Hospital, $142 million for the Jeans Wasdeski Centre at Norwood, $92 million for Terwillegar expansion, $87 million for the Yellowhead Trail, $56 million for University of Alberta Dentistry and Pharmacy, $55 million for the Yellowhead Youth Centre, $50 million for the University of Alberta Hospital Neurosciences Intensive Care Unit, $46 million for the Misericordia Community Hospital Modernization Program, $28 million for the City of Edmonton 50th Street Project, $13 million for Edmonton Ring Road projects, $10 million for Clean Hydrogen Centre of Excellence, and $5 million for downtown revitalization. We look forward. We've had very positive conversations with Mayor Sohi about the needs of the City of Edmonton, as we have in Calgary, as we have with the mid-sized cities. We want to continue to see our major centres as well as rural Alberta continue to grow and prosper, and I think we'll see that in the upcoming budget.
Perfect. If there is no other questions from the room, that wraps everything for today.
I, as the MC, just want to thank everybody for coming here today, and also to Councillor Tina Petro and Councillor Heather Spearman for being here and being partners in in this partnership as we move forward. Thank you to all the community members. It's great to see all of your faces and your commitment to our community. Thank you, Minister Schultz, for coming. Welcome to Airdrie. We'd love to have you back continuously all the time, making some of those announcements, funding announcements like Edmonton gets. Mayor Brown told me to say that. Thank you, Mayor Brown and Chris McNichol, also for being here. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.